Hello YouTube, Jeff Steele here with Steele Navigator. Today's video topic will be on a comparison of the long beard compared to the short beard, the pros and cons of each. Let's first look at the long beard. And the long beard, I would say anything outside of an inch or longer, I would say. If you look at the thumbnail on the video, the picture to my right, it's probably about a 6-month beard. When I had my long beard, I kept my mustache a little shorter simply because I didn't want my mustache growing into my mouth. That's probably my number one con with a long beard, is having a mustache that is out of control growing in your mouth. You'll constantly get beard hairs in your mouth. If you go to kiss your partner, depending on the size of your mustache, you just have to go straight through the mustache. When you're eating food, you're going to have food all in your mustache. You drink coffee, drink milk. People have to eat and drink through straws, use special eating utensils, forks, of course, and knives, and you have to basically learn how to eat and drink in different ways simply to get around the beard and keep from making a mess. And you'll burn through napkins. So kissing, eating, drinking, the biggest thing is with that mustache and the long beard, because that's what's growing down into your mouth. So from the bottom lip and below, most of the time when the hairs get a certain length, they just grow down. That's not going to get in your mouth unless it flares up. What I've found is that with long beards, with time, I think every man needs to experience a long beard. It's a nice place to visit, to see how ancestors might have carried around their facial hair. But even if you make it your mission to keep and maintain a long beard for a long period of time, it will eventually get on your nerves. It might take more time than some people, or less time for others. I had a long beard for approximately 7 or 8 years, kept it long. So also, one of the cons of a long beard is trimming it. Most guys, when they have a long beard, they'll just go to a barber and have the barber trim it. I honestly didn't trust a barber, any barber for that matter, with my long beard, because one mess up and the whole beard's shot. I would trim it myself. Now, trimming a long beard is very tricky. You have to be very careful, and you have to have a really careful hand. So I would take my trimmer, I would take the guard off. It would be completely freehand. I would trim it dry. There would be no guard, and I would always trim down. I kept my sides down close. They were long, but I kept the bushiness from coming out. So I would first trim down on the sides, and then I would cut in on the bottom and taper it back in. I sort of had a long chin beard like they had in the Civil War. And then the chin would come out and it would taper back under the jaw. I would say it probably took me a year or so to really perfect my method of trimming the long beard. And I did occasionally mess it up and have to cut it back significantly, maybe take a ½ inch off. It did happen. It just takes time. Also, another trick is to trim a little bit at a time. You can always take away more. You can't put it back. So trimming is much more difficult. But the biggest thing is the eating, the drinking, the kissing, and then you got the trimming issues. So that's some of the cons of the long beard. What are some of the pros of a long beard? there is a certain amount of respect that people are given with a long beard, because a lot of people know it takes a lot of work to maintain and groom a long beard. It takes a tremendous amount of time to keep a long beard looking great. Also, how the hair lays down flat on the face. Once the beard hair gets a certain length, it will lay down flat, so you do not have the itchiness that you do with a short beard, because the hairs are long enough to where they lay completely flat. They're not turning back, cutting in, poking into the skin. Also, with the long beard, the hair's grown out, lying down, there's more coverage. So even if you have say you have a bald spot or a patchy spot right here, hairs up here will cover it up once they grow down long and they lay flat and cover it. So you can mask patchy beards, growing a beard out. It's depending. Also, with that coverage, there's more UV protection. One other con with a long beard, if you have a lighter beard color, if you have more blonde, more reds, less browns, less blacks, your beard is going to look lighter being longer, because the tip of the hair shaft is wider than the body of the hair shaft. So that's gonna give the appearance that it could be thinner. Also, the sun will bleach out the hair. The more sun exposure you have, the less fresh the hair is going to be. It's going to stay bleached out longer before the beard grows out and gets new hair. So those are some of the pros and cons of the long beard. Let's look at the short beard. What are some of the cons? I would say number one con with a short beard is the itchiness. The hairs are super short. Depending on how short a stubble you have, I have about what you see now in this video, it's at about 4 to 5 millimeters. If you go shorter than that, I mean, you could still have some hairs coming through the skin, could create ingrown hair situations. Also, in the, I'd say 3 to 9 millimeter length of short beard, the hairs will curve around and stick into the skin. The little spears will curl back and stick in the skin. That's usually what causes most of the itchiness. The trick is to trim it regularly. I trim my beard every 3 to 4 days. If I'm out of town or something, it would be at least a week, every 5 to 7 days. But in the perfect world, every 3 to 4 days. So that's a big thing. Also, you have to go heavy on the oil and balm. Try to shower daily and apply your beard oil and balm every day. Brush twice a day gently. This will keep the itching at bay. But if you do not do those things, if you do not shower regularly, do not oil and balm regularly, and brush regularly, you will experience severe itchiness unless your beard hair is as straight as an arrow and grows straight out of your face. But most people are going to have some type of curl back with their beard, I would say. What are some other pros to short beards? It can give the appearance that the beard is darker because it's fresh hair coming out. It's not getting bleached regularly by the sun. Also, we talked about the tip of the hair shaft is wider, therefore it can appear to be darker versus the thin shaft of the hair. And it's also said that if you do have a really patchy beard, that you can't cover up your patches by growing it out. Is to keep it short. A couple examples of this would be to look at Keanu Reeves or David Beckham. There are other stars out there that you can Google and pull up. You can clearly see they have really patchy beards, but they keep it short and are able to pull it off. Another great pro to a short beard is trimming. If you're between 1 and 9 millimeters, you can get a basic beard trimmer, set the millimeters to your desired length, and you can brainlessly trim over your beard. I would recommend going in the same direction of your beard. So for example, if you're going to go against the grain when trimming, go against the grain for the entire beard. Or if you're going to trim against the grain, make sure you go against the grain for all areas of your beard to make it look completely consistent, with the exception of blending it where the sideburn is. You'll have to mess around with the blending there. But outside of that, set your setting, go the same direction that you do as far as the grain, and you can brainlessly forget about it. The only part you really need to take the guard off at, if you're getting outside of, say, 2 millimeters, would be right above the mustache, trim the lip line, right around here. That's the only area you would take the guard off. And the initial trim, you could, when you keep a short beard, you can really do this with your razor blade when you trim your neckline or your cheek line, and that is setting your line at the bottom, line at the top, and you want to go 1 to 2 finger lengths above the Adam's apple, and try to form a horseshoe where you get a little shorter right under the chin. That will help define your jawline a little bit. Every guy's different, every jawline is different. You'll just have to adjust that, form the horseshoe how it looks best on you. My lines might not look good on you. You might have to go 1 finger above the Adam's apple. Just everybody's different. When you keep a beard short, you can mess around with it, try different things, see what really works. Also, with a short beard, you can really just stick with a beard brush. You might need to use a comb in the sideburn area where the hair is a little longer, but you don't really comb a short beard. The hair just isn't long enough for a comb to really do anything. So you can get by with just a brush. Long beards, also depending on how long it is, you have to have a whole arsenal of combs. So when I had my long beard, I had 4 different combs I would use. I'd have to start with the wide tooth first, work my way down to a fine tooth. Just a lot more time consuming with a long beard and maintaining that versus a short beard. Also, if you find yourself in a situation with a short beard, say you're out camping, say you have a family emergency and you have to go out of town for a couple of weeks, and you're in such a rush you forget your beard trimmer, or even if you brought it, you don't have time to trim. With a short beard, it's short enough to where you can go a week or 2 without trimming it and not have this giant mustache hanging over your mouth. When you have a long beard and you want to keep it looking decent, you might have to trim it every 2-3 days just to keep it maybe out of your mouth a little bit. So that's one of the benefits of keeping it short. Also, if you are a heterosexual male and would like a positive feedback from the females in regards to your beard, it's an absolute fact that women, they've done study after study on this, women are most attracted to the short or long stubble beards, which is usually around 5 millimeters. That is what they find most attractive. Now, they sort of categorize longer beards as more of the father, being a good father in that category. But if you're looking to increase your attractiveness to females, they prefer shorter beards. So comparing the two, I would absolutely say short beard outweighs long beard all day, every day. Speaking from someone who has had both, I've probably had a short beard. I've had 10 to 15 years of experience with a short beard, and I've had 7 to 8 years experience with a long beard. So I've experienced both. There are pros and cons of each, but I would say the pros by far, not even close, outweigh with a short beard versus a long beard. Now, how can you validate this? Look at a lot of the beard communities on YouTube. Look at Beard Brand, for example. Group of guys, huge beard product company. Lots of influencers there affiliated with Beard Brand. A whole lot of them have shaved their beard off. A whole lot of them have cut everything off but their mustache. And a whole lot of them have cut their giant beards back to short beards. That seems to be the area that people are moving. Again, I think it's good to experience a long beard, see what it's about, but with time you will find it will get on your nerves eventually. Beards are great, but I just think short beards are better. Comment down below. Let's start a conversation on this topic. Do you like short beards? Do you like long beards? What are your pros and cons of each from your point of view? Share this video if you would. Tap the thumbs up icon and subscribe. I do thank you for watching. Have a great day.